Life can be overwhelming. Endless to-do lists, mounting responsibilities, and pressures from all directions can leave us feeling trapped. In these moments, do you ever catch yourself feeling ashamed or frustrated when things go wrong? Stuck in a cycle of self-criticism, blaming yourself for every mistake? Often, we respond by pushing through the discomfort, ignoring our emotions, and suppressing what we truly feel. But what if instead of beating yourself up, you could become your own source of support and kindness when you're feeling down? What if the very emotions we try to avoid could actually be the key to our healing and growth? The answer lies in self-compassion, the ability to be gentle with ourselves, just as we would be with a dear friend. When we bring compassion into our relationship with ourselves, we open the door to deep transformation. The concept of self-compassion as a means to self-acceptance is widely discussed in both personal growth and spirituality. Many thinkers and spiritual leaders emphasize that understanding and accepting oneself is a fundamental aspect of living a fulfilled and meaningful life. Your relationship with yourself is seen as the ultimate purpose, but the journey inward is neither easy nor simple. As Carl Jung famously said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely," highlighting the difficulty of this process. Yet, despite its challenges, the journey inward is essential for personal growth and fulfillment. At the core of self-acceptance lies self-compassion, which is the focus of this video. We'll explore the concept through scientific findings, ancient practices, and insights from historical figures, providing practical ways to cultivate self-compassion on your path to self-growth. We all know, deep down, that kindness, support, and compassion help us cope with pain, while criticism, neglect, and blame only make things worse. This isn't just true when it comes from others. It applies to how we treat ourselves as well. Self-criticism can drag us down, but when we show ourselves the same kindness we'd offer someone we care about, it can make a world of difference. By cultivating an attitude of understanding and care toward ourselves, we create a safe space within where we can begin to heal and grow. Compassion has always been recognized as a powerful path to easing suffering. For example, in the Mahayana tradition, compassion is seen as a central force for transformation. By cultivating compassion, it's believed that we can transcend suffering and move closer to enlightenment. Mahayana practices like meditation and mindfulness are specifically designed to train the mind to focus on compassion and empathy, deepening our understanding of suffering and strengthening our desire to alleviate it. This idea is not limited to ancient traditions. Science now recognizes compassion's vital role in emotional well-being. It's more than just a moral value. It has an evolutionary purpose, is an essential part of being human, and has real, measurable effects on the mind and body. Compassion, whether toward others or ourselves, is a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges and promoting healing from within. Paul Gilbert, an expert in evolutionary psychology and the neuroscience of emotions, focuses on how compassion and mindfulness, concepts often associated with Buddhism, can be applied to modern psychological science. His research explores how compassion affects the brain, showing that our brains function more effectively and stay more balanced when we're surrounded by kindness, support, and compassion. As Gilbert puts it, kindness, gentleness, warmth, and compassion are like basic vitamins for our minds. Research shows that self-compassion can be developed just like any other skill. Daniel Batson and Nancy Eisenberg found that people who practice compassionate thinking are more likely to help others than those who get caught up in empathic distress, which happens when we focus too much on our own discomfort from someone else's pain. Barbara Fredrickson backs this up with studies on loving-kindness training, showing that regularly practicing compassion can boost happiness and increase helpful behavior toward others. Unlike empathy, where we share someone else's feelings, compassion is about caring for them without getting overwhelmed by their emotions. This is important, especially for people in caregiving roles, as it helps prevent burnout. Compassion drives us to act and help, while empathic distress can make us pull away from difficult feelings. Practices like loving-kindness training, which focuses on developing kindness toward others, can help build compassionate and caring behavior. Research also shows that self-compassion not only boosts happiness, but supports emotional regulation, promoting overall mental well-being. When we approach ourselves with compassion, we develop emotional flexibility, which helps us adapt and grow, even in difficult times, as psychologist Dennis Turk defines it. Self-compassion is a way of being with ourselves in all our emotions, uncomfortable as they may be, without self-condemnation and instead with support and encouragement. Through his work in compassion-focused therapy, CFT, Turk reveals that training our minds to be self-compassionate activates a deep emotional regulation system. This system allows us to stay present with our difficult emotions while cultivating the desire to alleviate suffering. As Turk explains, training ourselves to be self-compassionate activates an innate emotion regulation system, which involves a deep appreciation of suffering and a loving aspiration to alleviate that suffering. It stems from the same evolutionary source as a mother's care and attention toward her young. When we have self-compassion, we can remain in the presence of difficult feelings with a wide, accepting, flexible awareness, and as a result, we can learn new, workable, and engaging ways of responding to even the most challenging and anxiety-provoking situations, thoughts, and sensations. A key step toward developing self-compassion is learning to listen to ourselves with openness and without judgment. We often overlook our emotions, brushing aside sadness, anxiety, or frustration as things we should quickly fix. But healing begins when we truly hear ourselves. As many spiritual teachers and psychologists point out, deep listening, whether to others or to our inner world, is an act of profound healing. When we listen without judgment, we begin to understand what's behind our pain, and that understanding is crucial for self-compassion. Before you can resolve something, you need to first understand how it works. In the same way, before healing, we must first understand the root of our emotional pain. This process of deep listening prepares us for the work ahead. Listening to ourselves and others without judgment is not just a therapeutic tool, but a path toward real healing. It's about feeling seen and understood, especially when it comes to our inner struggles. By truly hearing ourselves, we create space for self-compassion and begin to untangle the complex emotions we often ignore. Try to develop a practice of listening to your own emotions and thoughts with compassion and without judgment. Khalil Gibran's poem on pain beautifully echoes this idea. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life? Your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy. And you would accept the seasons of your heart, even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your fields. This passage reflects a compassionate approach to pain, urging us to embrace our struggles rather than resist them. Self-compassion involves recognizing that pain is part of life and growth, much like how the stone of a fruit must break to reveal the seed within. Accepting our pain with kindness leads to deeper understanding and self-acceptance. According to Turk, many people believe they need to be harshly self-critical to improve themselves. They think if they bully or beat themselves up, it will somehow motivate them to take control of their lives. Maybe you've experienced this with a teacher or coach who thought harsh criticism would push you to do better. While this might seem effective in the short term, it rarely leads to positive, lasting change. Instead, this kind of verbal punishment often limits our behavior and raises our anxiety, making us feel stuck rather than empowered. Turch explains that when we constantly attack ourselves, we narrow our range of actions and give in to fear and avoidance, which doesn't help us live a calmer or more effective life. In contrast, practicing compassionate self-correction, being kind and understanding with ourselves, can help us pursue our goals with greater ease. Compassionate self-correction focuses on growth, encouragement, and looking forward, rather than punishment or harsh judgment. It allows us to accept our mistakes as part of being human and motivates us to improve from a place of kindness and self-acceptance, not fear or shame. Compassion is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it takes tremendous courage. Facing our pain, fears, and uncertainties without turning away is one of the hardest things we can do. Self-compassion asks us to approach these struggles with both gentleness and strength, giving ourselves the same warmth and understanding we would offer a close friend. As Dr. Kristen Neff explains, self-compassion is about asking, "What do I need right now?" A question that can reveal both tenderness and fierceness. Tender self-compassion comforts and reassures us, acknowledging that we are not alone in our pain. Fierce self-compassion, on the other hand, drives us to take action. Standing up for ourselves, setting boundaries, or confronting difficult situations to alleviate suffering. Like yin and yang, these two aspects must be balanced for true self-compassion. Self-compassion involves befriending even the darkest corners of our emotions. Instead of pushing away feelings like grief, sadness, or anxiety, we can approach them with curiosity and kindness. These emotions are trying to tell us something, and they deserve our attention. By sitting with them, rather than fleeting, we become gentler with ourselves. This simple act of befriending our pain is what self-compassion is all about, and it's how we begin to heal and grow. One crucial thing to keep in mind, personal growth requires a safe environment, and that safety starts with how we treat ourselves. When we practice self-compassion, we create an internal sense of security that allows us to face life's uncertainties with greater confidence. Suddenly, the things that used to scare us feel more manageable because we know we'll always treat ourselves with kindness, no matter what happens. This becomes the foundation of self-acceptance, which in turn opens the door to real personal growth. By embracing who we truly are through self-compassion, we pave the way for transformation. It's like having a close friend by your side, guiding you through tough times. When you feel that safety within, you become more confident in chasing your goals and opening yourself up to new opportunities. This kind of self-compassion means we genuinely wish the best for ourselves, allowing us to feel safe enough to face the unknown. Just like how children feel braver when trusted people encourage them, think of the visual cliff experiment, we too can engage with what scares us when we create that supportive environment within. Our emotions don't just reside in our minds, they live in our bodies too. Tension, tightness, and physical discomfort often accompany emotional pain. By tuning into the body, we can begin to notice how our emotions manifest physically. This awareness helps us approach these sensations with kindness, whether through practices like body scans or simple mindful breathing. Paying attention to our bodies is a powerful act of self-compassion that fosters healing. Psychotherapist Matt Licata highlights the importance of paying attention to the body when working through difficult emotions. Physical sensations such as tension or constriction are common ways emotions express themselves, and addressing these sensations can play a crucial role in healing. Try this. Introduce body-based practices like body scans, where you can gently focus on the physical sensations connected to your emotions, offering yourself kindness and compassion. Kristin Neff outlines 3 key steps: mindfulness, common humanity, and kindness as the foundation of self-compassion. When you practice these, you're giving yourself the care and understanding you need to move forward. Here's how. Think about times when you've been struggling or feeling down. The first step in self-compassion is simply noticing that you're having a tough time. It's easy to ignore or push away your feelings, but self-compassion starts with paying attention to your own struggles. Mindfulness, as Eckhart Tolle highlights in The Power of Now, is about being present in the moment without judgment. It's about recognizing your pain without letting it take over, giving yourself room to pause and think before reacting. Next, remember that it's okay to struggle. Everyone does. Failure, imperfection, and hardship are part of being human. You're not alone in this, and recognizing that helps you feel connected to others instead of feeling isolated. As Kristin Neff says, you will make mistakes, bump up against your limitations, fall short of your ideals. This is the human condition, a reality shared by all of us. The more you open to this reality and work with it, instead of constantly fighting against it, the more you will be able to feel compassion for yourself and your fellow humans in the experience of life. Finally, treat yourself with kindness. Instead of beating yourself up or being overly critical, talk to yourself with the same warmth and understanding you'd offer a close friend. You deserve that support, and self-compassion is about extending it to yourself in those vulnerable moments. The beauty of self-compassion is that it not only helps us grow, but also deepens our compassion for others. Self-compassion is a practice, something you work on until it becomes second nature. When you do, you'll always have a reliable companion within yourself. Stay tuned for more insights in upcoming videos, where we'll dive deeper into personal growth and transformation.